What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update. We're going to go into the last 24 hours of Tottenham news. Some very interesting transfer speculation going on. But first and foremost, let's talk about Pedro Porro, as Charlie Eccleshare says that Pedro Porro is expected to overcome injury concerns and start for Tottenham against Arsenal in the North London derby. And with Destiny Udogie being out, we just needed Pedro Porro just to go into this game with our fears alleviated a tiny bit.
Yeah, massive boost. And he's such an important player for us, especially in possession when we're building from the back. I think we rely quite heavily on Porro with his creative passing ability and ability picking up certain positions. And I think he obviously really does that inverted role really well. And as well, defensively, obviously, coming up against some good attackers out there on the left on Sunday, Martinelli, Trossard, whoever plays there, Porro is going to be vital. So really great news. I'm hoping he's not being rushed back and there's a chance that his injury can occur or anything like that. But the fact that he's back in training a few days before the derby now, we're now on Thursday, so apparently he was back in training earlier this week. So really, really positive, and hopefully he's fit for the whole run-in.
Yeah, let's hope so. In terms of transfer speculation, Calcio Mercato claim that Tottenham are one of the clubs working on a deal for Torino defender Alessandro Buongiorno, and has started initial contacts to understand the cost of the deal. Torino's asking price does not deviate from January, which was 35 million euros.
Another left-footed centre-back. Another guy who's quite tall, strong, good defender. Another guy who has previously filled in at left back a handful of times, but is obviously naturally a centre back. But definitely looks like someone that we're looking at. Definitely left sided centre back. I don't think he's the quickest centre back, so I don't know if that's taken into consideration. But in terms of his ability defensively, really strong. Is capped by Italy, I think 3 times as well. 24 years of age, so quite a young defender, but not like a youngster. Quite experienced. Had a few seasons now in Serie A. I do think there are better options, but I also think he's quite I do prefer the guy from Bologna, to be honest. Calafiori. I think he's probably a better fit because I think he's a bit better on the ball. But maybe he's this one. What's his name? Buongiorno. Is it Buongiorno? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's as good a fit, but I do think he's a good defender.
What he actually has that separates him from our other defenders is his aerial ability and how good he actually is in the air.
6'4", I think.
He's 6'4", but Van der Ven's also tall, but he's actually not the best in the air, is he? But this Buongiorno, he's actually really good in the air. And when we're talking about defending from set pieces, he could be kind of invaluable to us.
Well, clearly that's been something that we've struggled with.
Exactly.
So that could benefit.
Yeah.
I do wonder if we would sign him with a view of maybe him being a bit of a hybrid centre back, and because that is definitely something that you can see in the top teams that they all appreciate, because I think it's very important to find players who can play multiple positions, because what it does is it keeps them happy in terms of squad rotation, because it means they can fill in multiple positions. So it means like when the first choice is fit, doesn't mean they're not going to play. They could fill in somewhere else.
Hybrid at left back.
Potentially, yeah.
The thing is, with the way Ange plays his left backs, I don't know if he's the right fit for that, because Destiny Udogie and Pedro Porro more or less find themselves in the number 10 positions more times than they're probably in the left back position, and I think Buongiorno is much more defensive minded than that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Calafiori might be a better fit.
Yeah, interesting. But anyway, that is the situation on him. Next up, let's talk about Eberechi Eze, as a report coming out says that Tottenham's are intensifying their pursuit of Crystal Palace winger Eberechi Eze ahead of the summer. Eze would prefer a move to Spurs over a move to other top Premier League sides due to family ties. And Alex Howe of the BBC says it will take a minimum of 60 million for clubs to get to Palace to entertain bids for Eberechi Eze or Michael Elise. Both players are happy at the club and Palace don't need to sell. Neither have a straightforward release clause either, which is interesting. I mean, we saw when Spurs played Crystal Palace, didn't we, that Spurs kind of made it very a nice place for Eberechi Eze to come, giving them a box for his whole to entertain families and friends, and he's obviously part of CAA base who are very connected with Tottenham. So on one sense it does make sense, this transfer, but on another sense is like, are Spurs actually going to splash that much money on Eberechi, which I think they should.
I think he's absolutely worth it. You're seeing at the moment what a quality player is. You've seen it whenever he's fit, to be honest. I think he's a breath of fresh air. He's exactly the kind of player we need as well. Someone who's got great dribbling ability, really great in tight spaces, but as well can play centrally, has got a really good shot on him, can take set pieces, but also we can put him out wide if necessary on that left wing, and he can do a really good job there. 25 years of age, so he's not exactly old, and he's quite young. So I think he's fantastic, and as well helps with the homegrown quota. When you're looking at players who are going to suit that, obviously he's the kind of golden ticket for that. They say 60 million. I think that's a minimum. I think it's probably going to have to be more than that, to be honest.
Levy always works on the minimums.
Because he signed a contract, didn't he, unexpectedly, because his contract was actually running out at the end of this season. Then he signed an extension, so I think until 2027. So he's got quite a lengthy deal now. So there's no real reason for Palace to skimp out on him. I think he is worth more than 60 million, and maybe if he sees a move to Spurs as well, that will improve his England ambitions. He might start getting picked for England a lot more and start getting involved there. Like, I think the player he is, like the quality of him, like he should be going to the Euros, and he's probably unlikely to because he's playing Crystal Palace, and that is a shame because I think he's such a quality player and can fill in centre mid as well. He's done that a lot. I think recently under Glasner, he's interesting. Before under Hodgson, he was kind of making his way as a number 10, and now under Glasner, he's kind of more as a left winger now again, and he's obviously playing really, really well. So I think that would be a real statement of intent, signing someone like Eze.
If I offered you the chance, you could only sign one of these two players. 2 buttons I'm going to give you.
Go on.
The Eberechi Eze button or the Nico Williams button.
Oh, Eze or Williams? I think I'll probably go with Eze. I'll probably go with Eze because he's obviously Prem proven, can play on the left wing to a really good standard. I think as well, I think when we're trying to break down lone blocks and you have to be a bit more nimble and work in those tight areas, I think he's a lot more suited to that than someone like Nico Williams as well.
And also Prem proven.
Obviously, what Nico Williams probably does is he's probably a bit better in those wide areas, I think, than and getting to the byline and things like that than Eze. But I think that what Eze gives you probably outweighs what Nico gets.
I think what you're talking about with getting to the byline in those kind of situations, I actually think Eze can do that to a high standard. I just don't think he's shown that on a consistent basis because of where he's been playing for Crystal Palace. But I think with the skill set that he does have, I don't see a reason why he can't do that.
Yeah, I see Eze as a guy who likes to cut inside a bit more.
Yeah, but I think he can do both.
Yeah, I just think Nico's proven he's more.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I agree with you. I would take Eberechi Eze for his versatility as well. Can play in a number of positions, but for 60 million, if that is true, Spurs should be, right at that. They should be biting Crystal Palace's hands off for 60 million. When we signed Brennan Johnson for 50 million.
Exactly.
Like, why not spend the extra 10 million and go get Eberechi Eze?
100%. That should be an absolute no-brainer on that kind of price. And that's why I believe it's not that price. I think it's a bit more.
Let's talk about Conor Gallagher, the Footy Insider, saying that Tottenham are well placed to sign Chelsea midfielder Conor Gallagher this summer, despite interest from Newcastle. Conor Gallagher's contract runs out next summer and is no closer to renewing his deal. So with 1 year left, if he's not signing one or if Chelsea are not offering him one, I'm not sure which one it is, surely he has to leave this summer. Yeah,
I think they'll want him to leave, and that is a sad situation for him. Whether Spurs is the place, again, I'm not 100% convinced that we're going to be going. Well, I think we'd be interested, but I'm not convinced that we can get a deal done with Chelsea, to be honest. I think Newcastle would be make more sense for everyone involved. But whether Gallagher, as a human being, wants to leave London, wants to go up to the north, that's also a big question mark. A lot of players who live in London want to stay there. They don't want to go to a place like Newcastle. So that could also play a factor. Maybe he would be willing to come to Tottenham, but he's also got to take into account, once he makes that move to Spurs, that's all kind of ties with Chelsea, like in a way severed. He's going to get booed at every away game, like he's not going to be welcome around Chelsea anymore because he's going to their main rival. So whether he wants to do that is a big question as well.
Yeah, massive question. But it's like, you see where players' minds are at, right? In the summer with James Maddison. Maddison had the choice to go to Newcastle, go to Tottenham. Newcastle would just qualify for the Champions League. Tottenham had no European football whatsoever. And the flashing lights of London swayed kind of Maddison, and maybe that chat with Ange as well. So I think if Conor Gallagher did have the choice, I don't know where his head's at, but I would assume that he probably would want to stay in London and move to Tottenham. But it does go down to that. Does he want to sever his ties with Chelsea and the fans? Because he is a Chelsea boy, a Chelsea fan, came through the ranks there, and he's Chelsea captain this season.
Exactly. That's like, obviously it's a bit different, but it's like similar to Sol Campbell moving.
Yeah, the only difference is that Chelsea be getting a transfer fee and he won't be going on the Bosman rule.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's similar in that sense. I'm just saying in terms of the move, a Chelsea captain going to Spurs while he's like there. It's not like he's 35 like Gallas was at Arsenal and at the end of his career. He's in his prime.
Yeah.
He's just broken to the team. He's their captain. He's a big part of could be a big part of their future. And him leaving at that point would be a big deal. Yeah,
it would be. But if Chelsea and inside of Chelsea make it known to him that he's not wanted, then I could see him actually doing something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it's completely out of the question.
But it's just a case of like, if we were to go this summer and spend like 100 million on Conor Gallagher and Eberechi Eze, get the double deal done. First of all, you're looking at that UK quota, looking good for the next couple of years. And I think that's 2 quality signings in 2 positions that we really need.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great start to the window if we did that.
Next up, let's talk about some outgoings. Brian Hill, once again, Estadio Deportivo says that Brian Hill will leave Tottenham at the end of the current season and has made it clear that he wants to return to Sevilla. The Spanish star wants to play more minutes and therefore hoping to move back to his homeland this summer, and a league where he's shown that he can do it. So I don't blame him for wanting to go back there.
Yeah, and obviously there are reports that fine order after him. Obviously Sevilla, you'd probably want to return to Sevilla because he had a good loan spell there. It's the team that trained him and he knows that league quite well. They also know him, so the club trust him in terms of his ability. They know how good he can be, so that makes sense. But it's all about who's going to give us more money. You would assume probably Sevilla would, but who knows, maybe Feyenoord can get some money from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, with the reports that Spurs are willing to let him go for something that's €6 million, I mean, I don't see that being an issue for either club, to be honest.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Next up, Giovanni Lo Celso, Gazzetta Italia, saying that Napoli are considering a move for underused Tottenham midfielder Giovanni Lo Celso. Napoli have reignited their interest in Lo Celso, playing just under 567 minutes through 19 appearances this season for Spurs. I do think he has been majorly underused by Spurs this season, even when he has been fit, because I think every time he stepped on the pitch for Spurs, barring maybe that Fulham game in the Cup, I think he's done really well.
And we haven't seen him next to Maddison as well, which I would love to have seen at least one or two
it's true.
appearances like that.
But you're looking at this report, Napoli going from Ndombele back to Lo Celso.
Get the band back together, get the double pivot back together, that'll be nice. I think it would be a good move for Lo Celso. I think Napoli are a very good team. Obviously won the Scudetto last season. This season didn't quite go as well for them, but
are they even getting Champions League next season?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure, but that would be a good move for him, though. It's a good club and it's a team maybe would appreciate him. And I think Zielinski as well is leaving, so there's a spot there for him to fill into. So it does make sense. It's about whether again they get the money, but I do believe they could be getting a big fee for Osimhen, so they might have some money to spend. Yeah,
apparently Osimhen going to PSG or something. I'm hearing reports of in the last couple of days. So yeah, I mean, how much do you reckon we can get for Lo Celso with 1 year left in his contract? I mean, I find it hard to believe we get over 15 million.
I think hopefully between 50. I think he is a £20 million player at least.
I agree that,
but at least 15 to 20, something in that ballpark.
Yeah, I hope so. And last but not least, Spurs have confirmed part of their pre-season plans finally, as official have announced that Tottenham have confirmed that they will travel to Japan to play J1 League champions Vissel Kobe at the Japan National Stadium on the 27th of July as part of our preparations for the 24-25 season. We've already confirmed that we are playing Bayern Munich at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well in August. So that does leave a bit of a gap. And Alistair Gold has said that he expects Spurs to be playing in Korea just after Japan.
Yeah, Spurs confirmed that it's only part of the tour and they didn't reveal what the other part is. So it does seem that Spurs will still be going to Korea. But obviously Japan, that's quite an interesting place to go as well. I'd love to go to Japan and for a few days and see Spurs out there. So that's really, really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So it does frustrate me though. Like we're here in late April, the season's got 4 weeks left to play. We still don't know like the extent of the pre-season tour, where you look at all the other clubs, the fixtures are already on every single app of where you know every team are going to play. Arsenal, Man United, all these teams already going out to the US. They know their fixture schedule, and we're just like none the wiser.
Hashtag announce the tour, Spurs. What are you keeping from us? Announce the tour.
But it does seem like Spurs are doing like an Ange Postecoglou tour this summer. It's starting off in Australia, going to Japan, and then finishing off with in Sonny's homeland in Korea. That's so cashing in on every single little bit of...
yeah, exactly. Makes sense.
Does make sense. But yeah, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on.